Yeah, I think we had a nice little pause. Kind of came right at the halfway point. Gave us a good opportunity to sort of reflect on that first half of the season. Give us some ideas on areas that we need to refine a little bit. And now really kind of starting as a blank canvas for the second half of the season. That's really that's our mindset, is to kind of be very open-minded and take some of the things that we've learned that make us a difficult team to play against, and continue to elevate those areas. And certainly areas that we need to improve, we want to elevate those areas as well. And that's kind of what the week now has been focused on, is getting those phases and areas dialed in with some more detail, and preparing for a Chicago team that is in really good form.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start in the room with questions. Back to the last two.
You kind of just mentioned the first half and looking into the second. I'm just curious, kind of as you assess the first 17 games in an Open Cup, what are you most happy with, and what are maybe an area or two that you really want to kind of tune in on the second half?
Yeah, I mean, we came into the season talking about a blank canvas and writing chapter 6 for us. And not really coming in with any sort of expectations or assumptions, right? Just kind of listening to what the team was going to tell us and how we should go about it. And so I think we're really, I think as we took a pause and reflected on it, there's a lot of good that came from this season so far, and a lot of positives that we can build on. I think, when we talk about being a difficult team to play against, I think that's true. I think it's, defending our penalty box. I think we do a good job at it. Some days you always think you can do better, but overall we do good. And we talk about being a team that came in and wanted to score 50 goals this season, and that was something that we don't shy away from, and we started the year talking about that. And I think we're happy that we're creating enough goal scoring chances to keep us on that trajectory. So overall, when you look at that, a lot of positives to build on. I think there's been a lot of growing and learning moments for the group as well. And we're going to take all of those sort of, I would say, moments and takeaways and try to apply them here to again, we're talking about a fresh start and a clear mind to go ahead and attack the next 17 games.
And then just two guys I wanted to get an update on. It looked like Julian was out on the field. Is he close to being back? And then I know when we had talked, I think in preseason, about Tyler and kind of his timeline. Are you expecting him kind of to start getting back soon?
Yeah, so Julian is back in full team training. These were his first two or 3 days back. And so, trending in a really positive direction. Will not be available for selection this week. We're hoping, now that we have another break after this game strategically, that if everything continues to go well in training through the end of June, I think is hopefully a timeline for us. Tyler's still on track, but it'll be still trending more towards, I would say, the middle to late of the summer.
Yeah. I guess how do you navigate the month of June with players coming? Walker and Jake currently still on international duty, will be for the Gold Cup, and just players coming in and out of the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the players that are here are the players that we're focused on, and continuing to try to get the group better, the team better, and for us, we're glad that we've got the depth that we can do that. And then it's a normal thing that happens in the environment, players moving in and out. So we're happy to welcome back the 3 guys that were on international duty that are not participating in the Gold Cup, and they come and reintegrate right away today. So for us, it's we have a very clear way we want to play, the way we want to train, the way we want to teach, and that structure allows guys to kind of move in and move out and not miss a beat.
And with the Fire coming up on Saturday, you obviously won 7-2 when you played them here at Geodis a month ago. What are you expecting this time around?
I mean, I would say we're not going in with any expectations, right? Like, it's a team that 2 months ago we're a different team, they're a different team, and so we don't put a lot of stock in kind of what happened there. Of course, we have our process to analyze the match and areas that we can improve, but we don't think that gives us any head start going into this match, the last result. For us, it's about turning the page every single day, and sticking to the way that we prepare for every opponent. We've got great respect for Chicago, and we know that they're in really good form, so the expectation is going to be a competitive match.
No.
Yeah, if we see the statistics or the numbers, Nashville is in a good position. It's better than Chicago. worried about, because the team, you talk about the pause, but are you worried about the pause that you have, the team has, probably the position and the way that are you playing in the field?
No, I mean, I think for us, we talk about we come to work every day and turn every page. We're a humble and hungry group that we're not concerned about the table standings before we've even started the second half of the season. We don't think it's indicative of much of anything at this point, and we're focused on, again, taking some of the reflections that we had in the first half of the year, spending the last 6 or 7 days training to start the refinement, and we're gonna continue to do that all the way through June and July, and that's part of how we operate. So the preparation for us to continue to grow is the same, and obviously with a focus on Chicago and how we can go there and get 3 points.
Thank you.
Bauer on Zoom.
Hi, BJ. Would you say it's as hard or harder to manage a team where there's one game in 3 weeks or versus having a game every 3 days? How do you compare those two?
I would prefer the middle of the two choices, which is that we just play every week. I think I don't think it's for us. It's about what are our objectives going to be in those periods of time. And so when you're playing in a congested schedule, there's a lot of off-field preparation that goes into it and a lot of recovery and making sure that the players are as healthy and safe and as possible so they can put in good performances. When you get into week to week, Saturday to Saturday, there becomes a really nice rhythm to how you prepare, how you train, and how you recover. When you have these longer breaks, there's also great opportunity. We can push the intensity in training sessions because you don't have to worry about a game coming up. You can focus on some real details, and you can really focus on yourself. And so I would say when we have some of these longer periods, that's one of our objectives, is that we want to use that time to elevate the things that we're already doing well, and get better at doing them. Not adding more and not adding new, just getting better at what we already do. And it gives you that opportunity to focus on that when you kind of have a less congested schedule.
And then with the USMNT, we're in town obviously this past week. And did you have any conversations with Mauricio Pochettino or anybody within the staff, or were there any information sharing, I guess, between the club and the national team?
No, I mean, I certainly had conversations with Mauricio, just more in a welcoming him to Nashville, welcoming him to the training center, introducing myself, exchanging types of pleasantries, but nothing any further in depth than that.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys. We're back with Jeisson.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Jeisson, if you could just kind of talk about what your experience has been like here with your first season in Nashville, and then as we start the second half of the season and get back into training, what you're expecting to see Saturday at Chicago.
Tu experiencia tan pronto ha llegado a Nashville y luego lo que estás esperando de esta segunda parte de la temporada que comienza con el partido de Chicago.
Creo que ha sido una adaptación muy buena por parte de mis compañeros, como el cuerpo técnico. Me han dado la confianza desde que llegué y eso ha sido muy importante para mí. Creo que venimos haciendo una muy buena temporada y para este partido queremos ir a buscar los 3 puntos para seguir en la tabla de arriba.
It has been a wonderful adaptation so far. There's been a lot of confidence put onto me from the technical staff and my teammates, which has been really important for me. And we've gone on a really good season so far. We're looking, as it pertains to the game this weekend, we're looking to get 3 points and continue to ascend on the table.
Gracias. Ana?
Thank you. Seguramente tú tenías una percepción de la MLS antes de llegar a Nashville, sobre todo. Durante toda esta temporada que ya has más o menos venido jugando, ¿qué es lo que has encontrado y para ti qué ha sido esa experiencia?
The question is, what was your previous perception of Major League Soccer before joining Nashville SC, and what have you seen since you've been here?
Creo que para mí ha sido muy bueno la adaptación, digamos, con los compañeros, porque no hablo inglés y ellos me han ayudado a hacer todo muy fácil. Por ahí intentan hablar mi idioma y sé que no es fácil para ellos, pero eso para mí ha sido muy importante. Yo también intento hablar algunas cosas, otras no las entiendo, entonces espero algún día aprender inglés para poder hablar mejor con ellos, pero el resto creo que ha sido muy bien.
It has been a great adaptation, as I mentioned, with my teammates, particularly because I can speak English. They try to help me by speaking a little bit of Spanish, and I've been trying to do the same with speaking English. But I hope that one day I'm able to learn and it gets easier.
¿Qué hay de Colombia? Porque sabemos que está a un paso de calificar en 2026. ¿Consideras o has tú trabajado en la parte de si tú tienes un buen desempeño en Nashville, consideras que pudiera ser tomado por el profesor Néstor Lorenzo para este mundial?
Creo que ellos vienen haciendo un trabajo que ha sido de muchos años, pero creo que ahora viene por unos malos resultados, pero esperemos de que sigan así como jugaron contra Argentina, que así va a ser mejor para ir al Mundial. Y sí, uno siempre espera el llamado de la selección, así esté, digamos, en unos lados donde de pronto el nivel ha sido un poco más como recién llegué y todas esas cosas, y por ahí llegué y me han dado muchos minutos. Espero en algún momento que el profesor me pueda tener en cuenta.
The question was regarding Colombia's national team and their qualification for the 2026 World Cup, and how they have been under head coach Néstor Lorenzo, whether he will be able to play or be called up to the national team. In answering, the Colombian national team has been working on this project for a very long time. They're coming off a few bad results, but as they look to play Argentina and qualify for the World Cup, they have opportunity there. As it pertains to me, I've always be looking forward to join the national team. I think that my level so far with the minutes that I've been able to play this season have been really good, and I always welcome the opportunity.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeisson, I know that when you got to Nashville, you hadn't played a ton of minutes until April, and then kind of just jumped into the lineup. How do you feel like once you're able to get on the field, you were able to adapt and kind of fit in with this lineup?
Al principio cuando llegaste no tuviste muchos minutos, pero desde abril esos minutos ascendieron muy rápidamente. ¿Cómo te has sentido en la adaptación desde esos momentos?
No, creo que me ha sentido de la mejor manera. Por ahí también no llegué directo a la pretemporada por temas de visa, que usted sabe cómo ha estado la situación, pero igual llegué y después siempre apoyando a nuestros compañeros cuando lo hacen de la mejor manera. Por ahí supimos lo que le pasó a nuestro capitán Walker, se me presentó la oportunidad y creo que todo lo que nos han puesto el profesor, venimos haciendo un buen trabajo, como atrás, como adelante, y esperamos seguir continuando como el gran grupo que somos.
It has been really good. When as you well know, I didn't arrive for preseason due to the visa process. So that was a little bit complicated. Once I got to the team, I received a lot of support from my teammates. Then obviously with the unfortunate injury suffered by Walker, the opportunity came for me to jump onto the field and become a member of the starting group, and I've always stepped up to the challenge posted by our coach, and I've been welcoming as he's come.
And have you gotten to explore Nashville at all, and what are some of your favorite spots?
¿Has explorado Nashville y cuáles son tus lugares favoritos?
Por ahí no he explorado mucho, pero creo que encontré un lugar de un lago que queda como a hora y media, creo, de aquí. Y también he ido a unos parques que le ha gustado mucho a mi familia. Por ahí faltan algunos por conocer por tema de clima, porque el clima sí ha sido como raro, como frío, calor, entonces por eso no he podido conocer los otros, espero conocer los otros sitios.
I haven't been exploring quite a lot, but I've visited a lake that's about an hour and a half away from here, and with my family we've been able to visit a few parks. There are some parks that we want to go that due to the climate being so up and down with hot and cold so far we haven't been able to experience, but we look forward to doing it soon.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Jaisson, I guess, how do you feel your style of play is kind of meshed with what BJ Callaghan is trying to do here with his systems and tactics?
Tu estilo de juego, ¿cómo se adecua al estilo y a lo que te está pidiendo el profesor?
Creo que ha sido de la mejor manera porque él me pide que estemos arriba para poder presionar. Por ahí hay veces se nos complica porque los rivales también trabajan y nosotros creo que venimos haciendo un buen trabajo cuando, por ejemplo, voy a la banda a ganar el duelo y no perder ahí. Creo que ha sido importante para nosotros y esperemos de que sea este torneo de la mejor manera para entrar a playoff y continuar partido tras partido, que así va a ver cómo nos va a ir Dios mediante.
I think I've been able to adapt to the style fairly well. We're constantly being asked to go forward and to put pressure on the opponent. Sometimes there has been complication as the opponent has been able to work really hard, and that hasn't been as easy. But also going into the sideline and trying to put pressure there and win the one-on-ones is something that we're working on a lot. But ultimately, our goal is to continue working, get into the playoffs, and then see where we can get from there.
You ended the month of May on a 10-match unbeaten streak, and what do you feel the recent two-week break did for you personally, did for the team, and how do you try to keep that momentum from your unbeaten streak going after such a long break?
Llegamos con el mes de mayo con 10 partidos sin ver la derrota. Luego te metes en un receso de 2 semanas. ¿Cómo continúas manteniendo la forma para continuar esos resultados en esta segunda parte de la temporada?
Creo que hay que tomarlo como empezar de cero, que hace de cuenta que no llevamos 10 partidos sin perder, sino continuar, digamos, que ha empezado la temporada y ir a por los 3 puntos y más adelante mirar cómo nos va.
We actually need to look at this second half of the season as a new beginning. We're not necessarily putting the emphasis on the 10 unbeaten streak, but more on a game-by-game basis of getting the 3 points for the next game and then continuing as the season progresses.
Valera, I don't see your hand up. Do you have anything on Zoom?
Just one question real quick. Just how is I guess, learning English going, and do you feel like you are communicating better with your teammates?
¿Te atreves? ¿Cómo va tu aprendizaje en inglés y cómo te sientes comunicándote con tus compas?
No, me he sentido de la mejor manera. Por ahí trato de hablarle en inglés a algunos, algunas jugadas le hablo en inglés, otros me dicen que hablo en mi idioma, que no importa, pero todavía no es que sepa mucho, pero creo que en el campo es importante comunicarte con tu compañero, con tu idioma, así no te entiendas con los movimientos, creo que es más fácil para uno.
So it's been good. I've been trying to speak English at times with some of my teammates, and when it comes to being on the field together, I try to speak English, but sometimes they even say just speak in your language, and we communicate that way. The most important and critical part is that we are able to communicate whatever the language it is, so we are able to connect on the field and understand each other as we go.
Gracias, Jeisson. Thank you, everybody.
Muchas gracias, tío, un placer.
Muchas gracias.
I guess how was the break?
Break was nice. I think much needed for guys after a long month. We had a good month, unbeaten, which was great. So nice to be able to take some time off and refresh and just kind of reset. And we had a nice couple days back in here to revamp for the second half of the season.
Is it tricky at all? You just mentioned the month, like 10 unbeaten. You guys are in good form. Is it tricky to kind of go away for a little bit and then pick right back up, or do you feel like that's not an issue?
I think the way we kind of timed it out gave us like a good build up back into it. We like having our 4-day builds, so we were able to get a couple of days of training in before that, have another day off, and then get into our 4-day build, which makes us feel like we're in a good rhythm. There's something to be said about playing a lot of games back to back. You kind of get in a flow and a rhythm, but I think we're ready and prepared to get right back to it.
Yeah.
How do you navigate, this month of June, especially with, because it's definitely a little bit of a tricky month with, 1 game, 2-week break, and then, you obviously have players coming in and out for, international duty and whatnot with, Walker Zimmerman and Jacob Schaffelberg, those guys on away right now.
Yeah, definitely some different circumstances, but we always talk about first here in Nashville, and we talk about the first time we went on the road and won, the first time we had a guy step up and do his job when he was called upon, and pointing those things out, we can see that we've done these things before. So I think we're ready, and the next guys, whoever is called upon, is going to be ready to go. And I think it's kind of a weird time frame or timeline, just in terms of how the games are coming. But at the same time, I think it gives us more time to prepare and even get more rest to lead into these games, so we're sharp.
Walker obviously not here right now, but he came back from his concussion just a few days before you went on break and played in 3 games, started 1. I guess, what did his return kind of mean to the entire defense, to the back line?
Yeah, he's a leader for us, first and foremost. His voice on and off the field is someone we look to, and then obviously his presence on the field is undeniable. So he's someone who, when he returns to the lineup and comes back, gives us a lot of confidence, just having the rock back there. And I know he was excited to be back. It was a long time away for him, and just getting him back into the group, I think guys were super happy with.
You talked about kind of just next man up mentality. BJ's talked about that a lot too. You've obviously come in for Andy a few times and had some huge performances. There are other guys like Jeisson for Walker and kind of all over the field. What about this group and I guess this coaching staff too, do you think it is that has kind of allowed everybody on the roster to step up when needed?
I think, first and foremost, the coaches put us in a position to succeed, and they're always giving us confidence and helping us develop. So, if you're someone who's not getting a ton of games, you're coming out here and you're getting extra work on the training field. So when you are called upon, you're ready for those moments. And I think just the camaraderie around the locker room. We're a group of guys who all love each other and support each other, and everyone's rooting for everyone to do well. There's that internal competition, obviously, within your roles and responsibilities, but no one's mad when their name isn't called, and vice versa. Everyone's happy when someone else gets an opportunity, and everyone just has confidence.
With Walker out for nearly 2 months, you had a lot of different guys get starts, get playing time, step up on defense. You, Chris Applewhite, Jeisson, and Jack, and getting more playing time. I guess. Do you feel more competition, more of a sense of that now that that everybody's kind of healthy and back in the mix?
I think maybe you can look at it as that, but you come into preseason and it's the same thing. You have the full roster of all guys, and everyone's always competing and pushing each other, and I think it's that healthy competition that allows guys to thrive.
You all had a pretty good time last time you played Chicago. I think since then they've gone 6 1-on-1 or something like that and have really kind of picked up. What are you expecting from them this weekend?
It's going to be a different game than it was last time at home. That's for certain. They've obviously had a good run of form, and they played last weekend as well. So they're kind of in a rhythm. It's going to be a challenge, but we look back to last year. We were able to go on the road and get 3 points there, and there's no reason that we can't do it again.
You've been with Nashville now since 2023. You're 26, 27?
26, yes.
26, and you've been here for 2 years. I guess do you identify yourself as more? Do you see yourself as more of a veteran on this team, or more experienced player, or do you still maybe see yourself as a younger player?
I think so. Yeah. This is actually year 4 in Nashville for me.
Year 4.
So I feel I've been here kind of for what we used to have, and obviously it's a new group, new coaching staff. So I've kind of seen the team evolve to what it is now, and kind of growing up within the system, within the group, and I started to take on hopefully a little bit of that leadership veteran role to guys, because we have a lot of younger guys coming up through Huntsville, coming up through the academy. So if I can be someone that they look up to, and I'm happy to do that. And at the same time, I'm still learning things from all the veterans and the older guys that we have on this team. So it's definitely a learning and growing environment for everyone, no matter what your status is. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.